Hello everyone, welcome back. I finally feel well enough to jump back into this, and as you all have been noticing, I need to read more. So here we are. I was trying to see how I was going to go about some of these like I did before, and then I thought about it. I need to put a little realness into it, just a little bit, and just see what I got. So we're gonna do hang and drive together, and have reflection and happiness to be the last one to end this chapter and go on into chapter 4. And everything else will just work its way in, because I think now we are adults. I like to think so. So let's jump right into it. You grabbed a large beach towel from off your bed and stuffed it into a bag. You had already packed your water bottle for your upcoming beach hangout session. The stars had aligned and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cole, and Terry to find a time to hit the beach. I hope Terry is a little girl for her birthday. You were hoping that this would be a fun time together. I don't know why I'm straining to read. Where is your shirt? Anyway, Cole sat on your windowsill and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He already had his swimsuit on, and his towel was bundled under his arm in a misshaped ball. He'd shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up to his preparation. No, not the coughing again. I ain't trying to repeat the past. But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was gonna do. A smirk on your face. I don't know about that. Option. You could have gotten a new one somehow. What happened to all your other swimsuits? You don't have to wear a swimsuit to be on a beach. That's a lie. You stayed quiet. Well, no, that's not a lie, given that there's an alternative beach option. Let's see. I'm not curious what he did with all of them, just being honest. You could have gotten a new one for real. You're being a little late. You being a little late is better than you not showing up at all.
Sure.
But I like this one. Anyways, I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it in there. Sure, put it there. You gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arm. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arm. You now could see that it had been folded at some point, but then rolled up and carried without much care.
I'm so glad.
Getting care of it. I'm glad too. But I'm just glad I found it. It would have been crappy to lose my favorite trunks. Girl, you sound like me for real. It was nice to see Cole so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. You walked over to your dresser and mused about how you had picked out your own swimsuit. Luckily, since you were average height, you only needed to worry about finding the right size when it came to the shape of your body. Option. You were heavy set. You were chubby. I don't care. You had curves. Yes sir. Yes sir. Yes sir. You were You were stupid. You were generally medium. You were slender. No. You were scrawny. Scrawny where? I'm gonna go with curvy. Yes, sir. Because I couldn't stop it. I'm right here and here on both of these, but I'm just going to pick curvy. And option. You had noticeable muscles. You had a little muscle definition. Your body was soft. Your body was delicate. Sure, not delicate. Now, soft I can say now because I have not been working out, and that's my fault. Why I'm complaining about my health going down the drain, but really, I did not take advantage of the room that is not mine, unfortunately. By default. Sad. No, not even default. That's sad. That sounds bad. Anyway, basically, I'm soft, I'm wiggly, I'm jello. But I do have muscle mass. It's sitting right there. It's just the jello is just centerpiece. We're gonna say a little muscle definition because it's true. I actually have muscle, but it's not little, but we're gonna say little. Your build was toned and firm with muscles that were there, though slight in size. There you go. You had gained more muscles in recent years. It was clear then compared to how you were when you were younger.
Are you okay?
Sure. Yeah. I was thinking about some things. What things? Just myself and my body, really. His eyebrow rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What did you think of who you were? To consider your identity further. Okay. Options. You had always felt sure about your gender. You wondered if your gender was really something you felt right about. Okay, that's kind of deep. I don't feel anything for it, but I get the whole gender thing because of how people back then made both men and women, actually boys and girls, feel as they got older. Like, to me, that felt like we still have no control, even as a child. Like, you know you're a boy, you know you're a girl, but time got as it is now. If anybody been paying attention, you know they know what they are, but because society wants you to feel like there are roles you have to complete because you are limited to that gender only, that creates problems, at least in my eyes. If you're a boy, they expect you to go to these heavy industrial places that can literally kill you, or you take out all your frustration when you get home on the people that love you, or people who I hope love you. And we get decreasing in suicidal thoughts. Now I probably get filtered for that on YouTube, but in some cases, just making it feel like for women and little girls too, you're just down to just one thing, and that's not true. Because once they take out our dude, take out the boy, take out the men, somebody got to fill those roles. And that's where the problem lies, that ladies have to migrate basically like whales and sharks and things in the ocean. When the world gets too cold, we go for the warm places, you know? But it's kind of like polar bears. When the icebergs are melting, they go on land. Literal land, and meet the bears, grizzly bears at that, and make a whole nother bear. That's literally what the world's looking like right now. And it's kind of in reverse too, where if not a lot of roles for ladies are being filled because of what society is still trying to decrease us for, they're gonna have the boys fill in the roles of girls. And first of all, they're not even roles of girls or roles of women or roles of men or roles of boys. These are things that have been cultivated over centuries. Whereas if you're wearing clothes now, after the whole era of Adam and Eve and the Bible just did a whole trip 180, you will still need clothes. So somebody got to make clothes. Somebody got to learn how to stitch. Some people got to learn how to keep fashion in the whole thing going. Because most of the fashion came from ladies anyway. Let's be honest. And some guys been given credit. We just hope it was from the right place, because we already know how society like to make men look like they are the villains. And some of them are. No, many of them are. But some are not. And that's the one that many want to protect, but society said no. Erase the weak. They're not weak. They're the ones you are afraid of, but you keep them alive to see what they're going to do. And that goes for ladies too. I went all over the world with it because this is the only game I can think of that make me think. Or I already had this installed in me, but I never had somebody to talk to who's not going to make me feel indifferent or demonize for it or belittle me for what I already know. And what some refuse to think and believe because they already been tripped to and lied to by society and other people, Just like I didn't know for centuries, little boys and men were lied to that they would be promised women if they do certain things. And I'm like, what the heck is for women and little girls? What were they promised? It was education and beauty. Why are they being tied to someone who may or may not love them, but they're probably not even just the love aspect. It's the fact that going into this world is just to realize we're not going to be alone for much longer. People who work to stay alone, they still got to interact somehow. But I always felt sure about mine. But yet my face scrunched up because, like, as soon as I meet someone, especially if I didn't have a good encounter with girls growing up, and I was once a girl, it's like, what was the problem there? Why was there something there that made me feel like, I don't know, I'm not a girl anymore, but I can tell you I'm a lady. Then I switch up and say I'm a tomboy because really I've been around a lot of boys, and most of the time it's not drama there. There's no competition, no nothing there. And I'm like, that's cool. But also I don't feel their nature or the violence that some will say they will have to get what they want from me. But to be truthful, I already know what's out there. And I know the capacity without being near it or feeling it. So for my gender, I don't lace anything to my gender. Yeah, I'm a lady. I haven't yet to admit I'm a woman yet because I don't feel like I'm there yet. What it takes to be a woman, I already know, but I can feel that I'm not there yet. Like some people can say, now I have yet to meet somebody to say they're a man. They say they're still a dude or a boy or a little man or something like that, because when you find your own, what makes you a man or makes you a woman, it don't feel like pride. It feels like passion. Now that I can finally admit that I have problems with both pride and passion, because I have passion. Well, my passion is this, like playing games now. And I can do so much more with it. Just wish I had the drive to keep doing it like I did when I was little, and I like drawing and painting a lot. It was so carefree. And if I wanted to improve, it'd be on my own terms. I wasted enough time on this, but basically, and I'm not going to cut this out because I don't know, I feel like this is the only game that makes me think. Well, not the only game that makes me think, it makes me think out loud and speak out, actually. I'm sure about mine, and I'm sorry for those who don't because of what's going on. And hopefully someday that you do find a peace in it. Like, I know people want to be identified as other things, but like, that sounds like what we all wish we could be except humans. And that's just my opinion. It's not for everybody though. And I'm not going to push that on anybody. Like, I can tell if you're a guy, but you dress a certain way, that I would even look at Prince and say, why are you wearing that? I wouldn't say that to him, but I also wouldn't say to a woman, why are you dressed like a dude? Because at some point I was confused. Well, no, I wasn't confused. I was something. Like, I know that's a lady. But I know that I got nothing but love for men. I got love for ladies too, but not in that sense. Okay? So I'm going to say I'm sure about my gender. I wasted so much time on that, but it's okay. Being called her was right for you. I'll call a guy and dude a lot of times, so I didn't care if you called me or her. It was true, but not to my standard. And options: you had small boobs. Your breasts were not exactly small, but not huge either, so average. You were well endowed. I know what that means. In the past, you had breasts, but had them surgically removed. That means your back and your health was at risk. Small boobs? We're doctrine to no boobs. Come on, let's be honest. There's some that do not have any, but I don't discriminate, and I like the fact that there are people out there who don't shame them for having, literally looking like what they are. Like, come on. Like, dating a guy, and it's just my opinion, if his type just happened to be small boobs or no boobs, but he ended up with me, who is literally like right here, but I'm really here, right? I'm really right here. I'm just like, I don't question why they pick me. I don't. Because in the end, that's a physical aspect. If it's anything else, that's something I have to discover. Safely, of course. But, I almost for a fact thought of like, this is like big boob. Like, I wanted at least one of my boobs to be big so they can be even. But over time, I was here, and then it got here. So I'm like, you know what? I have. They call small, but they're saggy from being tired and wearing the wrong bras for years, and it kind of just messed up the whole balance of it. Like, I don't even feel that part where it's supposed to, like, if you produce milk, I don't feel that part no more. It's just the healthy part to help stimulate your nipple too. I don't feel that no more. It's got whatever reality this can be, but I'm gonna say they're small. To some people that it's not small, but I'm gonna say it's small. I'm right here, but I can say small. They were notable enough to appear on your silhouette, though that was about it. I'm cool with that. Oh, what the heck? More? Option. You like the size you had. You wish they were smaller and might get a reduction. You wish they were bigger and might get implant. No. I understand this insecurity and insecurity and the trend and everything for that one, but I don't advise it. But if you do it, oh well. Like, anything to feel comfortable in their skin. You use a binder. Okay. You use a binder, but we're also considering other options. You left them as they were, but we're considering options for them. I'm sorry, you use a binder? I looked it up later. Yeah, when I was a teenager, when I wanted them to, like, one side to be matching the other, was sure, but then sometimes I just come to just accept them. And that's thanks to both men and women. It's just telling the reality that not everybody's meant to look like some mold, because then it'd be like eating the same cracker. Why they keep using that as a representation for men? You just be eating the same cracker supposed to be representing a woman. You're gonna be with that same woman for years and years and years. You don't want to mix it up, but nothing. Like, at this point, you have not reached that sort of space that men and women have mentally, that this is enough. It was more than enough for years, and here we are where people feel like something's not enough because you're unrest. But that binder part is really getting to me. I'm gonna say I like the size. I don't like the word had. I like have. Actually, I don't like any of these. But since this is the closest, I like what I have. Not had, have. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. Thank you! That's what I was saying. It shaped your self-image. More, oh my gosh, option. You were confident in yours. You were comfortable in yours. You weren't really content with yours. You hated your body. You knew you had gender dysphoria. Okay, gender dysphoria. I didn't know that existed. Because people always put hate on it instead of whatever that is. It's like, be comfortable. I think I say I'm comfortable because I don't know what confidence is in body images. It go back to that passion and pride thing for me. I'm gonna say comfortable, but I know how far comfortable takes. That's why I said I need to go to the gym. It's like, I can tell a little bit if I'm confident or not. But it doesn't list to my boobs being small or big, or my leg and butt and thighs that everybody notice. It's like, ooh, girl. I'm like, it's like a little boy when they give me those compliments. Like, it's for me to feel good about, versus someone telling me I shouldn't be happy about my stomach. And I'm just like, there were benefits to seeing it, and I'm like, bruh, shut the hell up. At this point, just tell me you ain't comfortable with your body and you want me to change so you can feel better about yourself. I'm like, no. I already know you secretly changing yourself for some dude or a woman. Like, get out of my face. You're an unrest soul. Put that crap on me. Now that's my confidence. Actually, no, that's my irritation and confidence combined, because why are you telling me something that you can't tell yourself? Like, you're not confident to tell yourself about. Like, I don't like that. That's a problem for me. So I'm gonna say I'm comfortable with what I have. To somebody say something like, why would you go ahead? Why would you make me go feel confident that I look better than you? Even if I'm sloppy toppy and all that stuff. And I ain't talking about that other stuff. I'm talking about, like, I look good, I feel good to myself, but you dislike yourself, so you try to put your feelings and emotions and all that stuff on me. You don't know me, boo-boo. You probably used to know the old me, but you didn't know me at all. So we're gonna say comfortable. Your body was you, and it was a good one that you felt content in. You focused on Cole again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer. But before you could, you had something to say to him. Option. What do you think about me? You like the way I look, right? Okay, I'm gonna need to stop for a bit. Cause that's thunder and raining and stuff like that outside right now. And I got dogs that's sitting outside. I don't like it. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Option. What do you think about me? You like the way I look, right? Honestly, I didn't care whatsoever with these options. So at least I said yes to myself. But it does make me wonder how the actual person I was talking to felt. Not so much, because they do live across the ocean. There's no way I could meet them even if I wanted to. But then when I meet them, I already know the energy and the vibe we're going to be mixing with. So, we'll just ask anyway. What do you think about me? About how I look, I mean. Cole smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments, Teresa. No. You look great. Everyone knows that, including you, by the way. Unless that changed. I get it. I like smart people who get to that point. Options. You pouted, you laughed, you blushed. I didn't want a compliment. I was just asking. So what if I wanted you to compliment me? You still should. No. Now, let's be honest, just asking, because it's not a compliment. Fine. Cole shook his head. His hand went up to try to unsubtly cover his smile. I was kind of worried you were so in your own head, cause I was kind of worried you were so in your own head cause something was wrong. Guess not, I'm glad.
Hey.
I'm Teresa. Cole gave a bent smile pointing to your arms. You're looking particularly toned today. He answered, not with words, but a solid okay sign with both hands and the same cheeky smile. Cole suddenly flushed when he realized how boldly he complimented you. He stood by it, even if he was a little red. You were a little taken aback. That came out of nowhere. You glanced at yourself. Do you like that? Yeah. Option. You started to flex and show off jokingly. Shoo! Say less. You flirtatiously stretched. You stood there stunned. You're so sweet and fantastic. You have some very good arms yourself. You hugged him. Man, flex. Flex. You posed dramatically. You showed off your guns fighting laughter. First the right, then the left. You then flexed both of your arms and widened your stance in a stereotypical strong pose. For real, for real. Cole turned bright red and jumped to his feet. His towel dropped to the ground as he practically flew over to you. He looked at your arms and then tried to gently nudge them back down. Yeah, you can stop now, really. He laughed nervously and flailed a little. You might well say deflated. You took pity on him and stopped displaying yourself. You got the reaction you wanted. Bravo me. He retreated back to sitting on the windowsill and retrieving his towel. Head hung low to try hiding his expression. Finally, you felt that was enough of that topic for one day. You went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick what you wanted to wear to the beach. I would have had my outfit in mind, but still wanted to do that because it was funny. Alright, ew, I saw one word I didn't like. Anyway, option. You chose to wear casual clothes instead. Look, I'll save that for the rest of the options to finish. You pick a one-piece swimsuit. You decide to wear a two-piece bikini. You showed a two-piece tankini? Okay, there's bikini and there's tankini. Okay. You wanted to wear your wetsuit. You wanted to wear swim trunks with a top. You decided to wear a Speedo with a top. Okay, what I was about to say was casual clothes. Okay. Nah, when you're comfortable in your body and your own skin, but if that's what you're comfortable in, that's just comfort. That's not improvement, but that's just my opinion. I don't expect nobody to do this. If you're not comfortable yet, but at this point, how long do you intend on being that way? But again, not forcing anybody, because I saw myself do this to get out of my comfort zone. I felt confident, actually. Not a lot of confidence. I didn't have a lot of confidence, if nobody can tell at this point. But the comfort part. Now, comfort gonna keep you in a shell. That's not confidence. That's not trying anything to see if it was worth staying in your comfort zone for. Now, I would have definitely said a t-shirt and trunks or shorts years ago because I wasn't comfortable. Then I saw as I got older, this humidity is gonna kill every last one of us. I went with tank top. I think I would have went with a tank top and shorts a little bit shorter than usual, but like 2 inches from my cavity, maybe 5 inches. So now I have my chance of wearing a swimsuit. It was at home because I wasn't comfortable wearing it outside yet. Then I got another swimsuit. Well, the first one was a one piece. That was fine. And then it was blue and white and I liked it. Will I show that picture? No, because of the way my boobs looks. But I'm not insecure is how I would like my boobs to feel better after putting something on, because again, they sag and it hurts. The second one I wore to the gym. It was comfortable, it was nice. It's just the top, it flails, but it doesn't show my bosoms. So I like that. So I would go with, I wore a 2-piece, well, I wouldn't say bikini, but it, to be honest, it was. I'm gonna say 2-piece bikini because I actually got comfortable at some point wearing them. So if I wore one outside or wore one in the house, then you know I'm getting better at loving my body. That's what, not just being comfortable, but confidence and love coming in. So I said it's not just a comfortable thing. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. Options: you took sunglasses, you grabbed a hat, you brought a shawl. Okay, You grab your board shorts. You pick out a regular shirt to wear as usual. You grabbed a full swimsuit cover up to wear as well. You took goggles. Well, goggles ain't gonna help me at all. I'm literally blind, but not so blind. I know what a shawl is, luckily. After, first of all, I didn't even know what I was looking at growing up when ladies had that thing around their waist. I thought that was just a towel, but no, a shawl is over the shoulder. Okay, I had them mixed up. See, I'm not into fashion, you know this. I don't wear a lot of hats like I used to in college. I still have hats that I don't even bother because I don't do anything with my hair really. That's another topic with hair and stuff. But I'm gonna say you're gonna grab a hat just for the feel. With that taken care of, you held your swimsuit, you held your outfit together and looked cold. He was tapping his toes on the side of the wall as he waited. You vaguely wondered if he thought that was a comfortable place to sit. You hope so, given how long he perched on it. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your swimwear with him just chilling there. I need a change. Cole smiled, content with being kicked out. Alright. Cole lowered himself off the window and strolled past you to get to the door. He lightly brushed his fingers against your cheek when he passed by. What? My facial cheeks? Why would you do that?
Bye.
I'll see you out front. Okay. When you were alone, you got undressed and put your swimsuit on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cole. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cole stood in the road, looking down and scuffing his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked up at you and smiled. Hey. Hi, Miranda and Terry are gonna be here. I don't know why I feel like I have a stroke. Hi, Miranda and Terry are gonna be here in not too long. Are you saying they're gonna be there in a little bit? Terry even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule.
Well,
why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. What with that look in your eye, my guy? That sounded like a good idea to you. You said as much, and Cole shot off a quick text telling the two of them where you be. Cole gave you a thumbs up after the message was sent. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Cole laid out his towel on the warm sand. You sat up. I don't know why I feel like I'm rushing to read. Must be the music. Cole laid out his towel on the warm sand. You set up your stuff beside him and looked out into the ocean. The rolling swells hit the shore rhythmically. You all had lucked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day, but with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect though. Do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore, or would you want to do something here? Or do you want to do something here? Option. The water sounds good. Taking a stroll would be fun. I don't mind my feet being in the water. You plan to just get some sun. Either way is fine. What would you want to do? Consider I've been sitting in this bed for a long time. I'm going to say I need to do some walking to get some adjustment. We're going to take a stroll. You wiggle your toes in response to the comment and look off into the shoreline. Cole nodded, accepting of the plan. He kicked some sand off his towel absent-mindedly. Yeah, sounds nice. He took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing salty air. Cole caught your eyes and gave you a small smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you wait for the others. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jump more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cole waved them on with a bright grin. Option. You shouted a greeting. You cheered at their antics. You waved till you laughed. You shook your head. You hoped they wouldn't fall. Greeting, Earthling. How's it going? Oh, okay. This is Miranda. Okay. Girl, don't shame me. I forgot who you were till I looked at you now. Like you're new. I got a lot to do. The two officially arrived at Cole's and your setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Okay, I'm just gonna say they're ready to have fun. Hey, Terry, Miranda, welcome to our beach. Hello. She beamed and Miranda nodded with a smile. Man, I was so pumped. Yeah, I'm really glad this worked out. What have you guys been up to over here in our town? Cole, Emma, Teresa. Have we missed things? Cole blinked and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. I'm just now looking up. What's up with that smirk? The smirk's gone. I don't think you like the fact that Pete was disturbed. Poor guy. Options. You shrugged like Cole. You gave a vague answer. You gave her a recap over how your family was doing. What have you been up to? I like her too. But I think I still have an issue where this is visible. But then I'm like, no, that mindset came from another culture for sure. Like where it's heard, I'm like, I don't know why it was an So yeah, no, I understand. But yeah, my top was kind of like this for the swimwear, but just up here. Everything else, like 1, 2, it was not there. This was there. No, this was here. This was not here. So yeah, I like my swimsuits. We're gonna go with, I gave a recap over how my family was doing. Your moms were the same as ever for the most part, although they were definitely still adjusting to you being an adult now. Yeah. Liz had asked you to take pictures of her latest makeup look the other day. There was nothing too dramatic going on right there. Terry nodded along and mentioned a couple of things about her own and her parents. Miranda brought up her family and shared some of the wild things her older brothers had done. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about me being tired today. You know I ran on less back during school. You know I ran on less energy back during school? Okay. Sorry, I'm just putting words on the site. It doesn't feel comfortable to read. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She met up with Terry on the way here, and you knew the rest. Cole offered a suggestion to the girls. Hey, let's walk while we catch up. Oh yeah, definitely. You felt pleased that Cole remembered what you wanted to do. Sometimes he could be thoughtful like that. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, the group strolled over the shoreline. The wet sand would cool under your feet. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in water. You flinched from the suddenness of it. No, I wouldn't. But by the next wave, you were acclimated. Okay. You look. I never thought a word in its entirety about that. Acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. And my throat is dry. Welcome back. Oh no. Talking. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm gonna drink. Anyway. Your friends chatted as you all walked together. You took turns pointing out cool shells or pieces of sea glass. It was relaxing. It was relaxing jaunt. Okay. Hours passed and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was another break time. You sat on your towel and sipped at some water. Your friends were hard at work burying Terry's full body under a pile. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's side. Cole worked on covering Terry's feet. You took another drink and closed your eyes. Eventually a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still notable even behind your eyelids. You checked to see Cole had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around in the pile of assorted beach stuff in the middle of everyone's towel setup and pulled out the sunscreen. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began to reapply the cream. Hey. Honestly, this sounds like me when I get to know somebody longer than a year. No problem. He ran his hands across his chest to work the sunscreen in, and you might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eyes while still sipping some water. Girl, yes. After he finished up, Cole let out a comfortable sigh and looked off into the distance. So you was burning. I think you're gonna need to get a whole nother sunscreen, my guy. If it's gonna run out that quick. And I don't know if banana sunscreen will work. Like, I saw them advertising years ago, but I don't know if it really works because I don't get a chance to go on the beach at all. Get a transportation that money and also free will. You know. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. But then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointing way. You wonder if he was going to sigh again, even more dramatically if he didn't say anything. Options. Well, that's wrong. You honestly wondered. Nah, I said it annoyingly. You wondered what it was. You raised an eyebrow. You chuckled. Oh, Cole, whatever it is, I'm sure it's gonna be okay. What would I I do? I would just looked at him like you better read my eyes. What's up? So I guess I'll be saying this. What's wrong? You inspected his face to see if there was anything actually distressed about him, but he still just looked like he was exaggerating. You asked anyway, since it was obvious that was what he wanted. Cole shook his head, comically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eyes, for real.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just becoming another jaded adult, that's all. Now you were really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his next sigh did not disappoint. It was the most ridiculously sad sigh you had ever heard. Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real. And even if they were, we would die. What? That had not been what you were expecting, he continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid? Well, mere folks as a whole, I really hope that they were out there. They're gonna be sirens and they're gonna take you into the ocean and kill you. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were gonna say that. I mean, the ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. Still may not be good for humans to find out, but okay. Cause I like to think they're way down there next to Megalodon, if Megalodon's not dead. But the thing is, Megalodon didn't come up for air. So let's just say something else is down there besides Megalodon, because they gotta come up for air. But the older I got, the more I had to accept it. They were just a fairy tale. Yeah, I like to think so too. He jerked his head over to the water lines and rolling waves. They crashed against the shore and then they drew back. This is a perfect beach for them. It's pretty and vast and never too crowded. But the problem is humans are here. Man, that's what I'm so tired about when I start talking or read a story. My mouth gets dry and I gotta keep swallowing. Oh my gosh. I know I don't talk much, but when I try and I lose my voice, y'all know this if y'all remember, if anybody remembers from the OGs. If Merfolk did exist, we definitely would have met one by now, or at least we would have heard of someone else seeing one, but nothing. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. Yay! Option. He burst into laughter. That's hardly proof. It's not like this is the only beach in the world. You pretend to be shocked and disappointed. You shook your head. Wow, good for you with that revelation. I sound annoyed, but I'm not. He was pretending anyway. What? Mermaids aren't real? You looked at him and tried to get fake tears to start welling up in your eyes. Nah, alligator. I can't believe it. Anyway, Cole chuckled a little to himself, eyes tilted off into the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Yes, it is. Let's say a mer person did happen to wash up on the shore one day. He looked at you with a fox doll full expression, whatever that is. I could have lost my best friend to their magical underwater world. Yep. Option. Oh yeah, I'd totally go live under the sea with the merfolks. Even if I had the chance, I'd stay on the shore with you. I go with the merperson, but only if you could come with us too. Okay, well, I'm not feeding into that. I'm gonna go for it. Even if I had the chance, I'd stay on the shore with you. Cole's eye widened with amazement. Really? So he'll go underwater? Interesting. You picked me, a plain human, over a beautiful mystic mer person? Honey, that is a creature for a reason. Ain't nothing good coming out of that thing underwater. We can't even evolve like we used to anymore. If they say we used to be animals. He smiled and continued, very clearly joking around at this point. Are you sure that's the right call? Yes. Yes, most of us humans are horrible. But as time goes on, there are still ways to just filter and learn how to take care of the earth. Despite everybody want to go to war. Not everybody. Everybody does not want to go to war. The civilians, the citizens don't want to go to war. The governments do. So yeah, everybody fails to realize that, I guess. The world's still messed up because of humans. So imagine if humans weren't the reason. It would be giants. It would be creatures that want to take us under the ocean because we are seen as very edible again. You know? But that's just me because we were in their living room. Get out the living room. But this used to be beautiful. This is beautiful as time went on, but when I was little, seeing this and it get dark and seeing sharks, I wasn't scared, but it's like, that's enough to say we're gonna die. And I don't even know what creature I saw when I was sleeping one time. If a beautiful, kind mer person, don't talk, falls for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the sensible response isn't to turn around and say, no thanks. I'm gonna stay on land with a normal person, with a normal guy. As long as they don't use no spell, we're good. Option. Are you warning me that you leave if I got that kind of offer? Why are you so sure I have to make that call? Since this is all hypothetical, why not have you be the mer person? I don't want that. I should get to be a mer creature, and then I invite you to the underwater world. Why are you so sure that I would pick a mer person over you? I'm not conflicted, but I'm curious. Because why wouldn't you? That's just obvious. No, that's not a human. The more Cole spoke, the more it sounded like he could be merfolk himself. He was choking on air, a fish out of water. I mean, you're charming and talented. Go ahead, keep talking. He barely eked the last word out. There isn't anyone who wouldn't choose you. For the right reason, you're correct, but that's rare. Because not everybody's going to want to get all the beauty instead of the physique. I think so. I like the compliment. I like it a lot. Same for you. You just keep the confidence and don't let society make you into a monster or make yourself into a monster. Oh. You're completely flattered by how highly he thought of you. Thank you. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. You saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you just want to give up on this now?
No way.
The burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. Oh girl. If you're like my little brother, you're gonna still move. You got to be moving. So I'm thinking you're a fish. Okay, if you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled and Miranda put her head in her hands. Cole caught your eyes and started to drag himself up. Seemed like we're needed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation, and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just enough wet sand to help hold the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively and Miranda offered high fives. The pile was actually done. Oh yeah! Resembling the Kool-Aid man. Oh, hold up. Oh yeah! Resembling the Kool-Aid Man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a cherry-shaped imprint was left behind. Miranda yelled again, and Cole chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The four of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest while you found the most colorful. Cole caught a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while, you all had ran out of water. Drinkable water anyway. It was decided that you head to your Cove's house. It was decided that you head to your Cove's house. Scenes were gathered and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever. Same. I'd like to have those kind of ideas again. And don't have nowhere to go and just have fun. Gotta create fun though. Or just be the fun. Or let the fun come to you, depending on what it's like. Same. I guess we can keep hanging out. Terry snorted. Terry snorted and readjusted her grin on her things. Her grip. Oh my gosh, I can't read. Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on her things. Don't sound too sure there, Cole. Was that Cole talking? No, it was Terry. No, that was the same. I guess we can keep hanging out? Like a question? Okay, she readjusts her things. Don't sound too sure there, Cole. By this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cole and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. It wasn't quite mealtime, I guess. We could get dessert. Miranda put her finger to her lip and thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up. Sound great to me. I can definitely go for that. I think that's a good idea. But there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friend glanced at Cove and his place. His face already. Oh gosh. He shook his head immediately. That doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert flavored protein shakes. Ew, no. See, Terry and I are on the same boat because that stuff is nasty. Till you find the right company that makes it and makes you want to actually drink it and work out at the same time, yes. I don't know what chemicals they put in some of this stuff, but it does not taste like food. It tastes like medicine. Awful medicine. She cut in and held her hands up as if trying to ward off something evil. Cole smirked.
Not bad.
It's not that bad. Please.
Nope.
Thanks.
Well,
There has to be some kind of sweet shop around here. Let's look it up. Terry nodded and started to dig around in her bag. I like the way you think. Terry continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag on the ground. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. She raised it up and in triumph for a brief moment of celebration. I'll search for something good. Terry got back to her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen and the other. But she assisted Cole from top. Assess it, Cole, from top to bottom. No shirt, no shoes, no service. For real. Cole glanced down at his bare chest and feet, having not even registered it prior. He chuckles a little. I'll grab something like, Cole moved over to his house. You look towards yours. Options. You decide to change as well. You waited outside with the girls. I mean, I guess if the suit doesn't look like hers, it makes sense. So it's like, this is belly. Okay. I'll go change as well. You felt like you'd be more comfortable in something more streetwear than beachwear. You inclined your head over to the side. I'm gonna change this. Go for it. We'll wait. Miranda nodded with a smile. You ran into your house. No one was home, so you just rushed to your room and dropped off your beach stuff on your bed. Option. You threw something on over what you were wearing. You completely changed into casual clothes. No. Throw something over like a big old shirt. You didn't want to take too long, so you just put on a couple things over top. You brushed off a bit of sand and thought you looked presentable. Okay, Orca. With that, you speed back outside. Cole was already there and gathered around Terry's phone with the girls. He'd opt to just add a shirt and shoes, apparently putting in the minimum. Oh my gosh, my voice! In the minimum effort for service. I guess I'm not gonna make it because it's been a while. Yeah, we're just gonna do one episode. It's sad because I like doing two, but we're gonna stick with one for now. But then we're gonna do a follow-up and say continue. Apparently putting in the minimum effort for service. If my voice continue to be messed up. Hello again.
Hey.
You don't really want ice cream, do you? You didn't have a chance to answer. She kept barreling through with her words. Cause I'm not into that right now.
That's cool.
Don't mind her. You look nice, by the way. Terry scrolled further and then made an interesting exclamation. Oh, what about this place? They sell crepes? That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy they are. She shoved her phone into your face. It seemed like a cute shop. It didn't show any pictures of the actual building, but the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation, with branded wrapping for the crepes and well-applied toppings. Weird. I never heard of it. I haven't either. Mysterious. Her crepes are so good. She nodded her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. I'll go. It's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan made, and you walked around to Cole's car. He had to run inside once more to grab his phone. His keys. Okay, I need to iterate. Everything else is going downhill from here. All I got left now is... oh my gosh. It should just be to wet my palette, but I get searched easily. Maybe. Okay. Options. You wrote, wash me in the dirt of his car. You waited for Cole. Yeah, wash your car, my guy. You noticed a thin coat of sand and dust on Cole's car. It had probably been a while since he washed it. With a smirk, you carefully wrote, wash me with your finger. Good work. I wonder if he's even gonna notice. The car beeped and unlocked. Cole ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his His hair slipped into his face and he brushed it back. Shotgun? Dang it. She climbed into the passenger seat without hesitation. You didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Terry activated the directions on her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cole to the crevice. The GPS tried to get Cole to turn into a non-existing road once, and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just using a left turn. But with Terry looking at the actual path, it was smooth enough. You were led to a small stall in a parking lot rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been pictures of the creperies interior and why it was new to you, despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. There was a window you could walk up to and one for cars to drive to. Cole parked with a laugh. I don't think I need to put a shirt on for this, but I still want to try it. Let's go.
What?
Do you not trust us to eat in your car? She gestured to the drive-thru option. Cole shook his head with a snort. I trust some people here, maybe, but wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? Yeah, true. This is such an empty parking lot, but I like the layout. Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to tease Cole a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she had crepas. Apparently they'd been a dessert explosion, topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. That's sweet.
So great.
Literally, it was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. You had to do it this time, Randy. You can do it this time, Randy. Give me an idea of the coffee shop that opened up down here. Not a coffee shop, but like you can just say it's like a nice little place to have a little date. There were some laughs. When you got up to the menu, you realized that there were more than just crepas. There were definitely crepas, mini crepas, however, the stall also had a lot of different drinks as well. Tea, smoothies, milkshakes. Jackpot! She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand configuration they had made and then slowly put their hands down. Cole's mouth twitched into a smile. I understand a failed fist bump and a high five when I see one. You stepped up to order first. You glanced back at the menu. Option. You ordered a crepe. Anyway, you ordered a drink. You ordered a crepe and a drink. Might look it up later. I don't know. I'm gonna say both because it's food. Hello, I'd like to get a crepe and a drink, please. There was a woman who looked a little older than you taking the order. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. For the crepe itself, you wanted option: plain, strawberry, chocolate, green tea, lemon. Oh gosh. I'm gonna say plain. No. It usually would be the first because I'm like, strawberry's okay, but I'm not into it like that. Chocolate's okay, but I'm not particular about it. Green tea, I'm just new to this place. I don't know. Lemon, maybe. Let's go with lemon. As long as we don't have anything like lemony drinks. For the filling and toppings, you pick Option: whipped cream, condensed milk, cream cheese, chocolate chip, chocolate syrup, caramel syrup, powdered sugar, strawberry, mango slices, mixed berries, banana slices. You didn't want anything extra. Lemon. So we're going to get, let's try cream cheese and cream cheese and banana slices, and that's all. After you picked the size, you were asked what you wanted to drink. You ordered options: an iced green tea, a black tea, a milk tea, an iced coffee, a strawberry smoothie, a banana smoothie, a mango smoothie, a coffee frappe, a vanilla milkshake, a chocolate milkshake. Milk tea. Hopefully that's boba. You could also add a mix-in or toppings with the drink. Okay, option. You choose to add whipped cream. You chose to add chocolate syrup. You chose to add caramel syrup. You chose to add boba pearls. What the hell? Boba pearls. You chose to add condensed milk, and you didn't want anything extra. Boba tea, boba pearls. Another. You know what? Nah, that's it. That's all. You paid and stepped aside to let your friends order. Cole got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and the mixed berries. He also got a plain strawberry smoothie. Terry went crazy with toppings. Although she ordered a plain crepe, she had it smothered with whipped cream, cream cheese, chocolate chip, chocolate syrup, and banana. Girl, you gonna finish all that? I don't body shame, and I don't shame nobody about how they want to eat, but now I need to know, are you able to finish it? Otherwise it'd be a waste. You need somebody to help you with that? Miranda opts for a frappe with caramel syrup and condensed milk. The four of you stood off to the side as you waited for your treats. I heard what you ordered, Mama Teresa. Glad I'm not the only one to go for a drink and crepe. Thank you. I couldn't pick just one, and why not? Exactly. It's gonna be good. I think yours sounds tasty, Miranda. I'm a Teresa. I thought Miranda. Mother Miranda. Thanks. Order for Emma Teresa? That's me. Oh, I've gotta get that. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Terry dug right into hers, and Miranda gave her a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly with her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frappe over to her with a grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. She raised her crepe over to Miranda. You could tell that there was an intent to make it look nice, but with all the assorted toppings piled on, only so much could be done. True. Miranda took a huge bite with gusto and sighed happily. Terry seemed satisfied and took another slurp of Miranda's drink. Okay, that's it. You're gonna need some help with that anyway. They had both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew they'd end up sharing. Thank you. I do sure have to share, especially while I'm talking. We're gonna finish all that. Option. Code, do you want to share ours? Terry, Miranda, can I join in the sharing? You opted to share your order with everyone. You said nothing and started consuming. And I'm gonna try my stuff first. If I feel like sharing, hey, I'll share. Actually, I've been sharing lately. Some of my food, not all my food. Don't screw all that. I ain't doing. I'm part-time, not full-time. So I'm just gonna see if everybody wants some. You held your order up a little, bringing it to attention. Your friends looked at you curious. Anybody want some? Anyone want some? Yes, dibs. You can't call dib on everyone else's food, true. Except that I did. Everyone can try it if they want. Thanks, that's so nice. Miranda took the first round and then, with a smirk, passed on your order to Cove instead of Terry. Oh, Randy, my dibs.
Sorry.
Oh, shoot, I can't tell. You can't claim. You can't claim Emma Teresa's stuff. Fine, I can wait for it. Chuckling, Cole seemed to greatly enjoy his taste, and then passed it on to Terry until he stopped chewing slowly. Finally, she accepted your order with gusto and took her taste.
Thank you.
It's so good. Thanks, Emma Teresa. You gave your reply in between sips of Miranda's frappe and munches on Cole's crepe. Crepe. I don't know how to say this. With that, Cole started to eat his treats in earnest. You saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie, and then without swallowing, he added a bite of his lemon crepe. His habit of mixing foods together wasn't anything new. Same like me. He hummed in satisfaction, so you guess he must have liked the combination flavor. Cole? Terry tore off a piece of her crepe and held it out to Cole. Care to take a trade? Sure. Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bites and toppings being passed around. You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frappes than Miranda did. You kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. You hadn't realized just how far the group had wandered until you ended up at the now leaving sign. Apparently you were able to just walk right out into the middle of nowhere. Now leaving Sunset Bird. Terry took her mouth off of Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frappe. Impossible! Preposterous! How are we already at the end? That's what happens when you're having fun and sharing. I always forget how tiny this town really is. Cole chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's frappe.
I guess.
It kinda is, huh? It didn't feel that small when we were growing up. Option. It definitely felt bigger then. It always seemed like there wasn't much here. There are tinier places out there. You guys are lucky to live in decent-sized cities. You quietly nodded along. You shrugged. I'm still eating. I'm just gonna shrug or nod, whatever it is. Not disagreeing with Cole, you gave acknowledgement of his words. Sunset Bird really did feel smaller these days. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not only one, Terry. There's four of us. Terry scrunched up her nose, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. She decided to ignore it. It stinks having to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out there. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out that direction. And if we did keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. And if we did keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. You stared off into the stretch of roads as Cole agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while and someone finished my drink. Right on cue, Terry loudly sucked air from the straw. It was so good! Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. It didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. The group relaxed on the grass, keeping account of all the cars that drove past. It was not a high number. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside. But as the vehicle came by, it slowed down and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. The black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. But then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else you knew presented themselves so distinctively. I had a feeling. I was thinking, well, the other guy, but I got their name mixed up. But this dude, definitely. Hey neighbors, what's up? Cole openly sighed when he recognized him. He made him so uncomfortable. Afterwards, sucking sulkily at the straw of his long empty drink. Option. You waved at him. Hi. You just wondered what he was doing here. You finished. You wish he hadn't stopped to chat. You smiled and were excited to see him. Hi. You inhaled and tried to be loud enough to account for the distance and car noises. It's nice to see you again. Somehow he was able to project his voice in such a way that it still sounded smooth, even though he was definitely speaking loudly. You wonder where he learned to do that. And you thought about the odd picture this made. A fancy black car pulled over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beachwear. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch. Terry tilted her head in an unspoken question. Cole made a quick gesture pointing towards Baxter, and a light bulb went off for Terry.
Alright.
Ah, that's the new person in the condo. The bee man, right? Yeah, Baxter.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if I'd ever actually see him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Incredible! This is perfect! Terry hopped up from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked up herself and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. She sent a searching look to you and Cole, to which Cole shrugged. Miranda nodded and, with clenched fists, hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through introductions, with Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cole looked at you. He still clearly had no intention of going over. Ah, boy. Well, option. You stayed with Cole. You went over to Baxter. You encouraged Cole to come. Went over to Baxter. Cole waited in the grass without another word. You joined the other two and stood next to Baxter's car. He smiled genially at you. I'm going to say gently.
Nice to see you.
I'm Adrisa. It is very nice to see you once more. He gestured towards Miranda and Terry. Also, he got a lip ring. I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm thinking it's a bug on my screen or whatever. I just rented this car for my stay here and was coming back from a bit of sightseeing when I spotted your crowd. Then these two were kindly introducing themselves. Yep. It's only polite. Speaking of polite, since you know us, You should give us a ride. Terry. Her voice was whispered, but her tone was clear. This was not Miranda approved. What? Then we won't have to walk back to the parking lot. I'll take care of it. Honey, come on. Come on. Let's just say you just met this guy for the first time ever. And the first thing you want to do is just say, give us a ride. Weird. Miranda bit her lip. Terry, clearly not seeing the problem, pointed at Miranda and turned back to Baxter. You wouldn't make a cute... What the heck, girl? Oh my god. You wouldn't make a cute girl trudge down this empty road, right? Look at her. What the heck, Terry? Baxter did. Miranda smiled uncomfortably, and he grinned playfully.
I can do that.
Heck no. Of course not. Consider me at your service. Yes! The girl just secured a ride. She was saying, my friend, she's shy. She don't wanna... She shouldn't be walking down the road. Oh, pity-like. She spun around and tried to wave Cole over. You could tell from his face that he was already alarmed. Get over here! Baxter's giving us a ride. The man did not like that. You could make out his frown in the distance. However, he did start to drag himself out of the grass. Duh. Options. You were just happy to get a ride. You were kind of annoyed that Terry did this. You felt uncomfortable to be getting a ride from Baxter. How do I really feel about this? I'm kind of annoyed with her, but I actually see the point that she did it, so I'm in between both of these, but because it carried out well, I'm going to say I'm happy I got a ride. Regardless of anything else, you didn't have to walk back. That's what counted, and you were grateful to Terry for arranging it. That means somebody got to do shotgun. Miranda looked down and put on a polite smile. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice. Terry did have a point. Yeah, she did. It would have been inconsiderate to abandon you here. And after all company is a favor to me. Miranda sighed a little, and Terry slung an arm over Miranda's shoulder with a big grin. Seeing their reaction, he made a point to search for yours too. Option. You didn't give him much of a response. You rolled your eyes. You were flattered. You thought it was funny. You frowned. You hoped Cole wouldn't get there soon. What the heck? At the point, if I had to play this over again, it's not like I'm gonna go straight for this dude, because I'm not liking the bottom of this at all. Like, I don't like this. Like, I get it, but I don't like it. I really wouldn't say anything. I'll just, I'll say, then shrug my shoulder. But I don't see an option, so we're gonna say, unless it gets funny. Cole stepped up to the car, his expression now inscrutable. Hello. Hi. Alrighty, plan made. Let's hop in. I don't care putting inside a car sometimes, but now I'm like, does everybody like leather at this point? Like, I know that's the model, but like, can we put something over it? It's summer. Yeah, you're gonna burn up, but like, do you want to get burnt? Like, pick your battles at this point. You excitedly opened the passenger side door, and buckled yourself in. The car was pristine, and you were right near the new car scented air freshener. It sounded like I called shotgun. Baxter had the air conditioner on cold, but low, so it was pleasantly cool inside. A nice relief from the summer sun you had been baking in all day. Your friends clamored on in the back. It definitely seemed the slightest bit squished back there.
Does that sound alright?
I'm not gonna lie, I hear him talking, but I don't hear him talking. Do you know what I mean? Welcome to my vehicle. I hope everyone is comfortable, and if someone could point me in the right direction, we can be on our way. Terry went back to the navigator mode and outlined their journey. It was basically a straight line with one turn at the end into the parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back into the road. Luckily, the street was still dead empty. It took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cole's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. There were smiles all around when Baxter parked next to Cole's car. Woo! Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cole chuckled nervously. Option. You smiled. Yeah! You clapped as well. You nudged Baxter in a friendly way. You were relieved you had made it. Nudge him. Friendly nudge. You leaned over the divider and gave this. Okay. Why would you need to lean over? Like, is this seat here and this seat way over there? Like, I can see that. Like, it being here, but the seat being here. Okay, then it would explain into that Chevy right here. You leaned over the divider and gave Baxter a lighthearted push on the shoulder. He hadn't been expecting it, but quickly laughed and smiled at you. The celebration seemed to amuse him. We'd arrived. That was easy, pretty much. Terry flung open her door and climbed out. Everyone exited the car as well. The group thanked Baxter with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter and Cole's car. Cole looked at the back of his and frowned. He finally discovered the wash me you put on it. Huh. I wonder who did that. You snickered along with Miranda, who realized you've been caught. It's a mystery. Right. The height difference in this world, yes. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. Like me, if I really were courteous. He accepted it easily with a charming grin. You're a pal. You're too kind. It was no trouble whatsoever. I'll be keeping this car all this summer. If it suits you, you're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in a need of another ride. And that goes for everyone here. Cole, I have a car. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. She did not know what to do with that. Baxter really went fast, didn't he? Uh-huh. He noticed her discomfort and smiled with a soft tilt of his head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. If you don't need it, you can pass on it. Yeah. Option. Can I have your number? You stayed silent. Look. At this point, we don't hate this guy. We don't. But, let's be honest. Let's say, and I can use this because this happened plenty of times. There were plenty of time I had to walk home. And there were times my family didn't have a ride. And there's some didn't have their phone on. And then there was some that couldn't connect with me in any connection at any given time. And then there were times where I'm like, family members were at work. I need a ride. Some co-workers did not have a ride at the time because they too needed a ride. So I'm like, okay, time to walk. If it ever came down to doing that in this gameplay, then yeah. I mean, as long as we're on good terms, that is. But seeing like we're all on good terms, so I'll get it. He beamed wildly at your response.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. You swing. Baxter pulled out a pen he had with him. Baxter pulled out a pen he had with him for some reason and jotted his number down. He passed the little paper to you, and you accepted it. When her giggles subsided, Terry put a hand to her chin with brows furrowed. Girl, don't do that. You look mischievous. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You can valet somewhere else, somewhere cool. Oh gosh.
What?
See, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Let's be honest, they're both baffled. What? Cole was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Weren't we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why would we go somewhere else? Because we can. She's an opportunist. Miranda squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up.
Maybe?
We could go to the park near my place. It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cole shared a look. The big park was pretty nice. Let's do it! Baxter tapped the side of his face and thought.
It's doable.
His voice actor. Cool. He glanced at Cole and then switched focus to you.
Well,
we have 2 cars. If some people want to go to the park, I could still take the others home. But if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. So it wouldn't make sense for you not to go to the park if everybody's going to the park? Makes sense. Alright. Option. Oh, if not anybody going home, everybody going to the park. Option. You decided to go back to the neighborhood with Cole. You wanted to continue the hangout session at the park. I mean, let's go to the park. Let's go to the park. You weren't ready to tag out yet. You came to a decision and turned to Cole. Let's go to the park. Yeah, I know he's not happy with that because, come on. Anyway, alright, park time it is. He smiled a little. Terry cheered and Miranda nodded happily. You felt like you made a good decision.
yeah.
To the car! Again! Which car? There are multiple. You watched to see if Cove or Baxter had an answer. I see both answers. Oh, but hers is quite a settlement. I need a settlement for why your face looks like that. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He tapped on his car's hood nervously.
I guess.
We can go in Baxter's, I guess. It'll be less of a pain than bringing both. We're all going to the same place. True. Are you okay with that, Baxter? Certainly. I meant what I said. When you need a lift, I can give it. True. Neither you nor Terry brought up any objections, and so the gang climbed back into Baxter's nice ride. This time Baxter offered to turn on some music. After all, it would be a little bit of a drive to the park. Option. Play what you Play what you normally would. Don't mind us. Can we see what's on the radio? I'd rather not have any. I'd rather lie to myself like you did. No, I wouldn't. Let's see what's on the radio. We can. Baxter pressed a button on the dash and pop music started blaring. He carefully turned the volume dial down so that it was low enough to talk over. Nice. He reached over to switch the station, but then he noticed Terry was already rocking out. He dropped his hand and placed it back on the steering wheel. So basically he said, this is good. She's comfortable. I love this song!
Me too.
Thank you, Miranda. He smiled at the girls and then started checking his mirrors. With the music taken care of, he put the car into drive and started driving to the park. The parking lot was practically empty, but you noticed that he was careful anyways. It took a while to drive. By the time you got there, the sky was golden with the orange streaks of sunset. Oh, this part. Okay. Everyone got out of the car and started to stroll along one of the paths. You walked by the basketball court and some picnic tables, taking in the sights. Miranda seemed amazingly content. The location helped her relax in the company. She led the way, sometimes stopping here or there to point somewhere out. Baxter turned to her and nodded along.
Not bad.
The eyes. Hey, developers? I don't say anything, and I mean nothing when I say this, but the eyes. I'm gonna say they're going this way, pointing either her eyebrows or her eyes. So let's be honest, they're somewhere else. We're all adults here. No, we're not. I never been here, but I definitely see the appeal. Man, this is Randy's stopping ground. She's been coming here forever. Seriously, Miranda, have you ever had a birthday party that wasn't here? You missed out, Baxter. You missed out, Baxter. Cause every year she has a blowout party at the park. Imagine balloons everywhere. Miranda looked down, suddenly shy again. With the attention on her, she let out an awkward laugh. Yep, every year. Actually, my birthday is where I first started to really get to know Cole and Amatrisa. The smile and then pointed to a wide, flat spot on the grass. Remember the bounce house? I remember. He chuckled and you could practically see those old memories on his face. It was a party for the ages. You were great. Option. Yeah, it was a blast. I miss parties like that. Everyone is too cool for bounce houses. Oh yeah? That did happen. Oh yeah, that did happen. He shrugged. He quietly nodded. It was a blast. But let's just say everybody's just too cool for bounce houses. The group followed Miranda along to one of the picnic tables. She took a seat and Terry slid in beside her. You spent the evening chatting amongst each other. Everyone got to know Baxter a little better. Although you can tell Cole and he still hadn't fully clicked. At one point, Miranda found an abandoned soccer ball and started tossing it around. To me! Miranda threw the ball to her. Terry caught it with a smile. Think fast! She chucked it at Baxter, who only had enough time to squeak. It bounced off his chest, and he stared at it, dazed. Oh, you poor thing. He blinked as if he needed time to process what exactly had happened, but then grinned dangerously. He rushed after the ball, and rather than throwing it back, he surprised Terry and everyone else by lobbing the ball high into the air. You bent your knee back to watch it ascend in inevitable decline. Inevitable decline. Baxter hooked it with his foot and launched it up again. There were oohs and ahs from Terry and Miranda. Baxter gave them a very proper bow. When it finally fell to the ground for real, Cole was the one who picked it up. He was impressed and he wanted it. With that, everyone was drawn into the game. It was unspoken that whoever did the fanciest trick won. Most of the gang was not particularly practicing with throwing a ball, so not many of the tricks were actually good. However, there was a lot of laughter, and you got to see Miranda pull off a round off where she threw the ball with her foot so that it was cool. So that was cool. You did pretty well yourself and got a fair amount of applause from the crowd with your moves. The sunset eventually darkened into the night, and the street lights turned on. Your group's chosen picnic table laid in a bubble of light. The occasional bug cast a shadow as they flew by. Nice. Yeah, I like this. It's just peaceful, and the world was just, at one point, no longer what it was. Like, everybody can come here, have fun, and I do mean fun as in what the part was initially intended for. You can walk, you can talk, bring your dog, bring the kids, bring the family, go by yourself and nobody pesters you about your number, your looks, and stuff like that. Like, at some point, this world gonna be too industrial or too dirt-like that everybody's gonna forget about it. Then again, for that to happen, the world actually meant it ended. But hey, what do I know? Yeah, pretty nice. It's a little strange being here so late on a normal night. Eventually, that only happens if there was a party, or an important game, or a fireworks show. Fireworks! Her yell startled Baxter, who was throwing the ball nonchalantly from hand to hand. He missed catching it, and it sailed sadly back to the ground. You looked at Terry for her loud outburst. I just remembered there's gonna be a fireworks show tonight. It's in the city. At everyone's questioning looks, she huffed and tried to explain further. It's some celebration for the opening of something. I didn't remember what. I don't think we could get into the actual event anyway. But we should still be able to see the show if we get close. You can't keep explosions in the sky away from the public. Cole raised an eyebrow and drummed his fingers on the table below him. You want to change locations again. Wasn't the last 2 times again? Terry rolled her eyes and then shook her head. To her, it was obvious. Don't be a wet blanket, Cole. What about you, Emma Teresa, Randy, Baxter? Don't you want to see fireworks? Option. It's fireworks. We gotta go. Cole's right. That's too much. You didn't say anything. The way I see it, yeah, is it going down to like everybody should just wear pants? It's getting weird. It's fireworks, we gotta go. And that just, if everybody's face was a little different and had their own opinion, basically this girl wants a lot of excitement, and let's be honest, if the sky looks like that, that meant bedtime. But for some of us mid-adults, that means we're going to be talking a lot. And I do mean what I said, like whatever adult I'm supposed to be. I'd rather just talk. Now there could be other things you could do, but you got hours to look at some fireworks. We need some simple pleasures out here. Fireworks. I guess there are fireworks. Alright. I guess they are fireworks. Alright, whatever. What's one more scene change? There you go, you cheeky little thing. Yosh! Yosh! I knew this was a good idea. In turn, forced his eyes looking to Baxter as the driver. His answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. And for a penny, and for a pound, I'll go.
Honestly.
Genuinely, there's nothing better to accompany my time tonight. We better hurry or we might miss it. Cole rolled his eyes but laughed. True. Everyone headed back to the car yet again. Terry brought out her phone to navigate to the city and Baxter stepped on the gas. We were on the way. You were on the way. Baxter drove past buildings aglow in warm yellow light that cut through the navy black night. One office building had bright LED lights that cycled through the whole rainbow of hues. It was difficult to get through all the traffic on the road, let alone find parking this late at night. Luckily, Miranda had eagle eyes when it came to scooping out a spot. She pointed to a sedan pulling out and Baxter parked within seconds. Nice. Ooh. I like this side of the place. So I'm gonna be honest. I think this is when our sister and they was on a field trip trying to find what's his name. And do not picture me. I will not remember his name if he does not stick around. Just saying. Not wanting to miss the show, you all race down the waterfront walkway to find a place with a good view. What about here? Cole peered across the rails into the distance and shot her a thumbs up. It was relatively quiet, isolated, and you could see skyscrapers. That was a good sign, based on where Terry thought the event was. Yes, this should work just fine. She stopped and tried to catch her breath, her hands on her knees. Miranda leaned against the wall between establishments as she recovered. So she had them running. Golly. Cole took a moment to breathe as well, stretched his spine back. He looked up at the sky in wonder and let out a relieved sigh. Think we missed anything? Not a chance. Nothing's happening and we can't be so late that we miss everything. Maybe it'll start soon. I would hope so. Option. You felt excited. You thought this was kind of a silly situation. You were nervous about how close the fireworks would be. You felt pretty laid back about the whole thing. Laid back. Sure, the fireworks were something that you liked to see, but you weren't overly invested in the show. You were with your friends and that was already something. Fireworks would happen or they wouldn't. You could accept it either way. Terry led Miranda to sit down on the oval slab along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crouched more than sat. Baxter smiled politely and looked from you to Cole. He seemed to be waiting for one of you to speak first rather than waiting to directly start a conversation. Something seemed to strike Cole as he tried unsuccessfully to hide a smile. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city in the dark while waiting for a fireworks show was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cole snorted once and then looked back up at the sky. But I'm not sure if this tops that one night you went around town with me and Mom dressed in my pajamas. You laughed too when you remembered the incident. It had been quite the escapade. That sounds like a story I'd be interested in hearing. Cole looked at him and then you, shaking his head slightly. That kind of is the story. There's not a lot else to say. We weren't entirely sure about that, but Cole wasn't ready to start reminiscing with Baxter. Well, I wish I had gotten the memo. Of tonight's dress code. I could have suited myself to fit. He tugged on his shirt sleeve with a fake grin, going for humor. He definitely was overdressed when you compared him to the rest of you. It succeeded in making Cole smile. Sorry. A flash. Okay, that's actually pretty nice. Powerpuff Girls! Yeah, green. A flash lit up the sky with a brilliant green. Your eyes flew off the building in the distance and slightly watched with bated breath. You heard a second boom and a red firework lit up the sky. Woo! The show's starting. It's so pretty. They came running over to get closer, possibly beaming. Terry pressed herself to the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible without just going swimming again. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colors stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest one washed your surroundings with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, and then golden. Did I deliver, or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered, and she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge, but can you imagine why? But was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Miranda slightly swung her hip the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft. We did it! You smiled at her and nodded. Options. You were pleased that you hadn't missed any of the show after all. You were glad that everyone seemed to be having a good time. You were uncomfortable with how near it was. No. Happy. Having a good time. Cole stared up to the sky with wonder, while Terry squealed in joy after a series of especially grand explosions. Miranda pointed to one that was shooting up and then gasped when it ballooned and turned into a huge sphere of violet light. Factor smiled in appreciation. It was good to see your friends in high spirits. The rest of the group huddled around the railing to take in the show as slowly as possible. Miranda stood close by Terry's hand, gripped the top. Miranda stood close by. Terry's hands gripped the top. Cole laid his arms across it while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail, putting his back towards the fireworks. He seemed to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. Ooh! No. Oh! She pointed out a golden firework and beamed. Ah! That's so cool. No. It didn't sound exciting to me, but we're gonna roll with it. Terry held up a hand for a high five and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cole answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling Cole out for being wrong. Yeah, that's your favorite color, green. It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And is yours black? That's one of them. Cole smirked just a little and left the conversation there. Option. You stood next to the girls, you stood next to Baxter, you stood next to Cole. Stood next to Cole. Cole looked away from the fireworks and grinned at you. What's with that face, you cheeky leaky? He was glad to be spending time with you and tilted his head at a spectacular multicolored fireworks above. I think that's been my favorite so far. He shot you another look and nodded, wanting you to move up closer in front of him. You could see the night lights reflecting on the water. Options. You rest your arm on Cole's shoulder. You lean your body against Cole. You stayed like that. Well, the invitation is there with no problem, with no suggestion, no hard suggestion. And, well, guess what? Lean your body against cold. You rested against his side and let yourself relax. He felt solid and sturdy beside you. It was comfortable. You took a moment to watch him, and the fireworks reflected in his eyes. Cole grinned like a kid. Cold gaze drift from the show and dazzling light straight at you. And he sighed dreamily. You didn't know when you last seen him so blissful. The spectacle continued to up the ante by bringing more fireworks out at a time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it was tinted green while a big boom sounded. Fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event, that made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public firework. That made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public firework show never would. Terry's idea may not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night. At the final sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty. You remember thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this once again. I'll reread that. At the final sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty. You remember thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this. A night like that. I don't know why I messed up. Again, not for the rest of your life. You plan to hold on to the feelings you had in that moment for as long as you could. Beautiful. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that felt great after practicing to move my jaw. I'm not gonna lie, when I was talking before, I was like this, and they were walking down the street and they carried it. You hear the difference. And they were walking down the street and actually held hands and told everybody that they loved each other. Everybody said ooh ah and just went to a flat face because they already knew. The difference helped. So I'm going to just post this one, and we're going to start the next one as soon as I recover my voice, okay? Like really recover it, because I was talking with bubbles in my mouth and a dry throat. How did that work? But yeah. To continue, I'll be right back. Bring snacks.